Nick Nurse officially introduced as the Sixers' newest head coach today. We will break down all of the main takeaways from his introductory press conference here on Philly Take with RB.
Perfect.
What is going on, everybody? RB here. Welcome into the show. Like always, hit the like button if you enjoy this content. Be sure to subscribe and also ring that bell down below. That way you don't miss any of the coverage. Today we are back. Nick Nurse introduced as the Sixers' newest head coach. Said a lot of interesting things. There's definitely a lot to get into, and we will take a look and break it all down. I do apologize, a little bit under the weather, but as always, the show goes on. Before we jump right into all the information, though, shout out to our sponsor of today's video, Manta Sleep. Guys, got to check out the Manta Sleep Mask Pro. This thing has done me wonders, to be honest. I mean, I'm laying down at night or even trying to take a nap during the day. This thing blocks out every single distraction, any light that's peeking in the window or just anything that my eyes are wandering off on. This thing takes it away. It has true 100% blackout for deep sleep, C-shaped eye cups for unbeatable side sleep comfort. You can lay on your back, your side, it doesn't matter. No pressure on the eyelids around the little eye cups. Very lightweight product, honestly. You just slide it right over the head, and it goes on, and you barely even feel it like it's there. So it took me a little while to get used to, but this product has definitely helped guide my sleep, and they have the Pro Mask, the Cool Mask, the Steam Mask, the Aroma Mask, a bunch of great products that can really help you take your sleep habits to the next level. So go check out mantasleep.com down in the description. Click the link, go to mantasleep.com, use promo code PhillyTake, and get 10% off of your order. All right, let's talk about today. So here is the man of the hour, Nick Nurse. There he is. What do we think about that? I mean, it's crazy just seeing another introductory press conference for a new head coach. I remember the last one like it was yesterday, Doc Rivers, Daryl Morey. Here is Nick Nurse. Kind of crazy seeing him with a Sixers jersey there, number 76 Nurse. It's real. It's real. He is the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. I want to go over my main takeaways. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I heard the press conference. I listened to it, but going back listening to it, a little bit more, I picked up on some other things. But here are my main takeaways from the press conference. Number one, Nick Nurse says that taking this job was an easy decision. He had other offers from Milwaukee, Phoenix. He was questioned about it, but he just said the camaraderie that he has with this organization, guys like Daryl Morey, who he's worked with before, Josh Harris, and also the talent that exists on this roster. He says it was an easy decision. I liked his quote here, probably my favorite of the day. He says, communication and honesty are the keys to being a successful coach. They questioned him about the accountability thing, about being too hard and how he, went at players publicly instead of pulling them aside first. And he said, yeah, you have to be a successful communicator. Essentially, you have to hold guys accountable on point, when you feel the need to do so. When they're not playing well, you guys got to step it up as a team. And he really didn't back down from that. He kind of admitted, like, yeah, I did that. And that has to be a direct relationship and communication for everybody to hold each other to a high standard and be successful. So I really like that out of Nick Nurse. He had high praise for Joel Embiid, and he wants James Harden back. We will get to that more in a second. But like I said, Nick Nurse had a vision coming here. He didn't come here to lose and tank and rebuild. He thinks this roster can compete. He's played against them for years, and he was very high praising in terms of Embiid, Harden, Maxey, and all the guys here. And he did mention adjusting multiple times. He talked about adjusting on the fly and doing different things. We know he's a quirky coach, right? He's going to think outside the box. He's very sharp. That's what I took away today. He's very intelligent, which is what we expected, what we thought. But hearing him talk some ball for the first time, I liked how he dived, into multiple areas and really started to explain, even before stepping onto the court with these guys, some of the methodologies that he plans to implement with this team. So very impressed with Nick Nurse and his opening presser. I loved it a lot. And we will look at Joel Embiid here. Shout out to our guy, Sean Bernard, who, essentially puts this quote here. Nick Nurse was asked about the load managing of Joel Embiid, right? Nick Nurse has been known to overplay stars, according to the entire Raptors nation. Apparently that's why he got fired this past year. And he was asked about Joel Embiid, and he said, well, my experience with Kawhi Leonard, who had come to the Raptors and had not played for a while, had the injury. Nobody really knew what was going on. And he managed Kawhi Leonard and got him ready for the playoffs. And guess what happened? Kawhi Leonard had maybe one of the best playoff runs in history and helped them win the NBA Finals. He talked about how they created a season-long plan for Kawhi and believes this can be valuable with Joel Embiid. He emphasized the season-long vision. And one thing that I will say Nick Nurse talked about a lot in this presser is playoffs being different from regular season. It was music to my ears. He said, and I'm not going to get this exact, but he talked about having a playoff toolbox. He said, we have a toolbox, right? Whether it's strategy or doing things on the court, off the court, the playoffs are a different beast. That 2-month journey is completely different. So as much as the regular season counts and is good to get standings and, good seeds and all, you got to be ready come playoff time. And he talked about having that long-term vision, being able to balance that out. And he said, sometimes we're going to try things in the regular season and, they're going to be a part of our playoff toolbox. We're going to store that, save it. Sometimes things are not going to work and we're going to get rid of that. We're going to adjust and do different things and just try a lot of different, components to be successful. And I really liked hearing that out of Nick Nurse. Now, another thing he talked about with Joel Embiid, again, had a lot of praise for him. They asked him about the beef, I guess, between the two. And he kind of just laughed it off. He said, I didn't even know back then, that it was that important. But, they chirped at each other. It is what it is. They have a lot of respect. Daryl Morey did confirm that Joel Embiid met with Nick Nurse during the process. So they definitely have some connection there. And Nick Nurse says that he historically has loved to have offenses that move the ball well, right? A lot of ball movement in that Raptors offense. And he says Joel Embiid, quote, has the skill to be a great facilitator, and he will help him improve on that. So he thinks Embiid should be moving the ball more, that this offense should be flowing. And, I would say Sixer fans kind of agree, right? You can't get too stagnant. Although Joel is so dominant and such a presence down in the paint, you have to get everybody involved, and they're going to have to find a way to balance that, even with Joel Embiid being their number one option. So a lot of praise for Joel Embiid. Nick Nurse said he came here to coach Joel Embiid, and I think, these guys can be successful together. I think Nick Nurse is going to really challenge his basketball IQ, and I'm excited for that. Now we get to James Harden, and, well, Nick Nurse was obviously asked about James Harden. Can't really say much because he is not, decided yet whether he's going to sign or not. But, of course, Nick Nurse gets the first taste of Howard-esque, and let's take a listen.
Better at the end of those 2 months. And
do you want James Harden back?
Pardon me?
Do you want James Harden back?
James Harden's a great player.
That didn't answer the question.
Well, I would say this is that James has a decision to make, and I'd be very happy if he came back.
Nick Nurse wants James Harden here, and when asked about what he sold to James Harden, when he communicated, when he discussed with him, he said the one thing he preached to him was winning. I love that. It's a results business. You got to come back, be in a good situation to win. James Harden wants the championship on his resume, and, I like that answer from Nick Nurse. What I really like, though, is that even being pressed for the first time already by Howard Eskin, he didn't get flustered. He didn't take the Doc Rivers approach and immediately, get angry and say, oh, well, I know what I'm doing. You don't blah, blah, blah. He said, I would like James Harden back. He didn't get flustered. He took it right on the chin, and he didn't let that get under his skin. That's something I noticed there from Nick Nurse. But yeah, we'll see what happens with James Harden. That is the next domino. Can Nick Nurse preach to him? Can he buy or get James Harden to buy into that system? Well, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know if it really fits his play style, but James Harden adapted this past year. Maybe he'll be willing to do it again. Lastly, Tyrese Maxey was a big emphasis point here. Nick Nurse commented on Maxey, says, quote, he's got a tremendous chance to improve and take a step forward, and from all indications, he's really hungry to do so. But the main thing that really stood out to me is this right here. Let's take a listen. Nick Nurse on Tyrese Maxey, what he has to do specifically in this offense to become better.
There's some specifics, I would say, being more of a creator. You said about what is creating? Well, creating is you're scoring or you're drawing more people than one, and then you're creating for others. So can he make the reads, all the reads? And I think that's like the first place I would start offensively is getting him, more reps in the pick and roll so he can make the reads to all the other players on the floor depending on what he sees.
So one thing I mentioned in the last show is that, Tyrese Maxey, I believe, can really take a huge step under Nick Nurse. He has developed other young players for the Raptors. But we know he has to get smarter, has to become better as a facilitator, a playmaker, a ball handler. And that is what Nick Nurse just hit on right there. It really sounds like he's going to make him a smarter player, which will eventually lead to him just being better in a lot of different facets. But the main thing I took away from that, what have we been asking for all year? Obviously, James Harden was fantastic in the regular season. The Harden Embiid pick and roll was one of the best in the league. But there's so many times I can remember, so many games where Maxey or Tobias or whoever it is, they just fade off into the distance. You don't even realize they're there anymore. Why? Because, well, it was really a centric offense around James Harden, Joel Embiid. Tyrese Maxey needs touches. He needs opportunity. And Nick Nurse said in that clip, he wants Tyrese to become more of a creator and to get more touches in the pick and roll. That is huge. We asked for it all season long. Never happened. The few glimpses that we got, Maxey shows that he has that potential. So that is music to my ears. Tyrese is going to be a lot more involved in the offense going forward with or without James Harden. And really, my main takeaway, again, from this entire presser is that Nick Nurse is very smart as a basketball mind. He's a big guy on X's and O's. He's going to do a lot of crafty things, creative things. He did say, though, we're going to cater this team to our talent, right? Which is what I've been saying. Like, you have to design a strategy around this team. He was asked about offense, defense. He said, well, we're going to come together as a staff, as a team, and decide what do we want to do that's best for our team. You have to adjust. You have to physically design it around the talent that you have. And that's why I'm saying it is going to be all eyes on Daryl Morey to see how much more talent he can really bring into this roster before the next season, given all the limitations. So we will see how it goes, but a great opening presser from Nick Nurse. Very satisfied, very happy. Give me all your thoughts down below, all your main takeaways from the press conference. Are you happy with Nick Nurse as the coach? Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And like always, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.